What's up,
Good
neighbors?
morning, neighbors. I'm Shanar.
I'm Devon.
This is Mayday Training.
Most definitely. Today we're here to talk to you guys about the importance of stretching.
Yes! Okay.
So a little bit of context behind this before we even get started. Word of the year from our pastor was stretch out. Last year's was no cap, this year's stretch out. We already had a topic listed regarding stretching and why it's important, why you should be doing it. If you will, spoiler alert for the video, it is important. But more so the nuances of why you should be stretching, and of course it all kind of ties in with the word of the year. You want to start us off with anything in regards to stretching?
Well, the day before the message we got, took Devon to the gym. I didn't go this night, but it was a super long day.
Very.
They ended up going in there, and I was like, "So what did you work? How was your workout?" He's like, "I ended up stretching."
Right.
So that paired with the word that we got, let us know, kind of helps us know where we're headed in terms of our fitness for the year. So there's going to be flexibility. Things that we've been trying to do. A lot of times what I find out is that things that we've been trying to do prior, now that it's been like released, it's going to be kind of effortless to do it this year. So we're sharing it with y'all because stretching is important.
Very.
A lot of people associate stretching with yoga or just like more,
Waking up in the morning, that's it.
which is also good. There's different facets of it, so we're gonna go over some of those today.
Yeah. So like, number one, right? Why should you be stretching, or what does stretching do for the body? Assuming that you're training, or say you're not even training right now. Assuming that you're sitting down, you're stationary, and you're not doing much, your muscles in and of themselves, the fascia in them, start to take on the shape of what you're doing for the most part. So if you're flexing them, squeezing them, contracting them, that means the muscle groups that you have are tightening. If you're sitting for real long periods of time, then your body in and of itself is just kind of adjusting to the shape you're taking for the majority of the day, whether it be active or stationary. This over long periods of time shortens the muscle heads and stiffens up your connective tissue. So your joints, ligaments, tendons, all that stuff, they start to set in place. If you don't actively
Stretch, those muscles build up, and it can be kind of painful. Like he was saying, not necessarily people who are just lifting heavy, but stationary. So this is for anybody, for different reasons. Like he said, if you have like a stationary, sedentary type of job, your body is in a specific position majority of the day, it will conform to that.
Yes.
If you're lifting a lot, the way that your muscle fibers break down and repair, sometimes you'll have like pain in your muscles, like the development isn't as big.
It's not as
Like
efficient.
it's efficient. I'm saying big. Like you, with stretching, when you're lifting especially, it lengthens your muscles.
Yes.
And strengthens your muscles. For any of you who have done yoga, you'll see people who do yoga, everybody's not all big and strong, and they make it look really easy like yogis. But if you get into it, you'll find out that you're using a lot of muscle strength to do that while you're in these stretched out positions. So if you want to challenge yourself, yoga is a great way, but they also have like low impact yoga to where it is just a lot of stretching. Just recently we did like a bedtime routine, and it was some simple movements, but you could definitely tell that we had not been stretching these areas of our body.
One good thing, it's awesome, freaking excellent for recovery. If you're like me or Shanar here and you are training, this is more so for that group. If you're working out consistently, there's this thing called lactic acid that likes to build up in the muscles. You're usually chasing that feeling of a burn or that burning or that tightening sensation in the muscle groups. When you're training, for the most part, that left untouched for too long can create little calcium deposits in the muscles and cause a lot of problems like tears, pain, just like clicking, cracking, that kind of stuff in the future. It's all a myriad of things that we wish to avoid. So in order to improve your recovery, because that's another facet of fitness that is kind of slept on. People don't really pay much attention to the recovery aspect of training and fitness, more so the aspect of doing it. But to keep your entire training and your lifestyle holistic, that should be a very important facet of your life in general, even if you aren't like shooting after big fitness goals. Your recovery as a whole from your daily job, motives, and activity,
Say, like,
that's important.
there's a lot of even people who just work really, really like you use. There's a lot of strenuous activity. Whether you
standing.
work at like McDonald's, that's a lot of customer service and a lot of shaking and a lot of packaging. Like you're doing stuff.
Right.
Like, or if you are in a hospital, like a doctor, that's a lot of patients.
Right.
Again, like there's a lot of movement. A lot of healthcare professionals are on the job for like 12 hours. Your mind needs recovery, your body, sleep, in order to be alert. A lot of times in a lot of jobs, thank God we are blessed and privileged to be in America where we can work jobs that we actually like we can do things that we love to do. So what you're wanting is to recover, to be able to be more effective and efficient in those things. Like I like to lift, and so recovering is just as important if I want to be effective in the gym. So even like think about recovery. If you don't look at it like this, like I had surgery. The surgery was important to get my daughter out, but the recovery was just as important to get me to where I need to be effective for her. And so if I just skip the recovery part, like I would be hunched over, like still to this day. So that can give you like a little bit of a visual, like this is how important, like you need to recover. When you get sliced open, like you need to recover. You're in the gym, when you're weightlifting, you're ripping your muscles.
Yeah.
Like you're ripping them open. So they need to you need to recover, and stretching is a good way to do that.
Along with helping to improve your recovery, reduce the buildup of lactic acid in your muscles, stretching has this other dope property that more so increases your range of motion. If done correctly, you can increase your range of motion.
Yeah.
This done incorrectly could possibly lead to an injury if you don't have the control of the form set in place. So, like I say, advise any movements or any lifts that you do with proper form and technique, and don't use weight that's too out of your range. But more so, the increasing of your range of motion can increase your gains.
Yeah.
If you can take a load or weight through a larger range of motion, you can work a larger variety or more totality of those muscle fibers in that group. More muscle fibers being worked, time and attention being placed on those equates to more growth, more tearing, ripping, and then repairing of those muscle groups. Like I said, leads to more gains, and it has the potential to make you stronger, believe it or not, in the long run. Why? Because you're not only strengthening your muscles at those points in times when you're stretching, a lot of those poses that you're holding not only lengthens the muscles, but the connective tissue. Your joints, ligaments, those things, they take a lot longer to recover, but they are so very vital. I've heard so many gentlemen and women in the gym talking about, oh man, my knees hurt, or my elbows hurt, or my wrists hurt, or this or that hurts, because the connective tissue, the joints and ligaments surrounding those muscles have been worn and torn, and they've lost their range of motion.
Echo.
So in order to avoid all that, you should be stretching actively on a regimented basis like you are with your training. Your stretching should go hand in hand with the movements that you're working. If you have a leg day, you should be working your legs in terms of stretches. If you have an upper body day, your shoulders, rotator cuffs, chest, back, those muscle groups, biceps, triceps, those should be stretched in accordance with what you're working. Doing this on a regular basis will not only ensure your recovery, but will also ensure that you maximize your growth and training potential for longevity stints.
Like regularly doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it every single day.
No.
Because that sometimes that's hard to get into. Especially if when y'all take the time to sit down and stretch, you'll find out like how much of like we do or don't do that like will prevent us from it, and you'll see why it's so hard to get to that.
Yeah.
But there's endorphins.
That's like the fun part about it.
That is released when you're stretching, which leads to dopamine being released.
They go hand in hand, right?
Which leads to feeling really good and euphoric.
Right.
If you do a really, really good yoga session, and it's not just like this feeling of accomplishment, like there's actual, like your toxins actually released from your body that like
you feel high,
really leaves you feeling really, really good.
You
so
feel like
it really is. So it's worth a shot. I definitely would say give yoga a shot. I love yoga. I think it's amazing.
It's a good introduction for you guys who are new to stretching. There are plenty of YouTube videos that you can look up to find someone who can help carry you along with a specific and targeted version of yoga that will get you into stretching.
Yeah, just find somebody that you're like cool, that you can vibe with. There's a lot of different yogis. We have one, so just ask us. We'll let you know who we like to yoga with.
Right.
But even just regular stretching, you can come up with your own like stretch routine in the morning or at bedtime, like just bending over, touching your toes, like overhead stretches, stretching arms. Like you can stretching your neck. Like you can come up with your own routine. It doesn't really take too much. Like, no, you just, like he said, you just don't want to overstretch these muscles. So do it to where you feel comfortable. You feel the stretch, but you feel comfortable. But you're not like hurting yourself. Like the stretches shouldn't be hurting.
You should feel discomfort. It shouldn't be like lackadaisical, unless like you're a little bit more advanced.
Discomfort.
It's more of there's a feeling of a stretch.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
long story short, if a muscle is tight and you stretch it, it's not gonna feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't feel painful.
Uncomfortable and discomfort is two different things.
Right.
So you don't want to feel pain. You don't want to feel discomfort. You want to feel like, oh yeah, that you'll get that feeling like, oh yeah, you can tell you need to stretch that area.
Right.
So might be uncomfortable, but in a good way. So it'll feel good.
It'll feel good, like a release.
Yeah. So we're looking for good feelings. Just you don't want to be pain. If it starts to hurt, like just let up because it shouldn't be hurting.
Big takeaways to leave from today's talk. Should you be stretching? 100% you should be stretching. How do I get into stretching? If I don't know absolutely anything about stretching, you're watching this here on YouTube, you can definitely find someone here on the YouTube page who can take you through a stretch routine.
We can make a stretch video.
We can make a stretch.
Like we can do just like a simple, just to give you an idea. It's not too long, like it's 10 minutes. Just to show y'all like this is all like. But of course, depending on your field, your goals, because there's so many different, like I said, from people who don't work out to like triathletes, like there's different types. So hit us up personally, and we can give you like tailored stretching routines or like how to stretch certain muscles. Like, well, what about this? How do I stretch that? Like, we can let you know for every specific goal or vision that you have. What's the word? What category of work that you have? Because like a swimmer, I stretch a little different than like
say a
weightlifter, power lifter, So just hit us up and we can let you know, like we always do with everything else. We tailor everything to like what your specific need is. But yeah, we'll get a video up here sometime soon with some stretches, so that way you guys have an idea. For those of you who have like, oh, I have no idea what to do. Right. But other than that, do you have anything else to tell them?
No. Stretch, do it. Like it'll help. Yeah. My daughter had to add her 2 cents. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you want coaching, training, meal planning, or any of that good stuff, please contact us. Currently either at our email, maydaytraining@gmail.com. Give us a follow on Instagram at maydaytraining on the gram. We're still working on getting our website back up. It is coming back soon. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with someone who needs to stretch. That stiff coworker, your friend at the gym who is doing partial reps on squats because their hip mobility is trash. The person who keeps telling you their knees and their elbows hurt. Give this video to them and tell them to stretch. It'll do so much for their life. Aside from that, we'll catch you guys next video. Peace.